Hello, Job Dewey here, and today's video, even though it looks like we're playing a little bit of electricity, which will be here shortly, it is actually going to be on the Behemoth range. But before that, I have to put the circuit breaker back in. This right here is a, I believe a 30 amp breaker. Let me double check real quick here. Max amperes 120, 240. 10,000, and yes, 30 amp, because it says it right here on the top of the switches. Right? Okay, so, anyways, what we're doing is gonna give a little test here. I know it's hot because the breaker's not been turned off yet, the main switch. You can see there's like two wires hanging out. That's where this came from. So I'm just going to go ahead and stick this on a ground, this right in here. Yep, that lights up, so it's hot. Now, there's a switch way up here. It says 200 amp. I'm going to go ahead and, bam, turn that off. Now I'll double check to make sure it's all dead. Yeah, it's dead, see? Dead, can you see that? So, with that off now, I can go ahead and, two prongs back here, screw these wires in. Don't matter which way, but I'll put them back in the way they came out. And this here's a Type A. This is very important to remember. See these little hooks here on the front? Type A is hooks like so. And what the deal is that with the new range that I'm going to install, the Behemoth, what we need is, what the manual called for was a 35 amp circuit breaker. And guess what, folks? There's apparently no such thing as a 35 amp circuit breaker in a Type A. So I had to go a different route. Actually, I didn't go a different route. I'm taking this, putting this back in here. Let's see here. Unscrews a little bit more. And this is a 30. They want 35. There's a 5 amps. Will it matter? After calling the factory and talking to people about this, apparently it could, but it wants 28 amps on this circuit, okay? And so, as long as we don't go over that 28 amp, everything should be fine. If we go over it, it's going to go pop. Is it going to go over it? Shouldn't, because there's only going to be this one range hooked up to it, which, yes, maybe if you have, you know, the electric oven on, and if you have both convections going, and you try to kick off all the igniters at the same time, maybe that will pop it. But chances are it shouldn't. Tighten these down. And yes, there's a torquing guide to doing these here. I'm doing them nice and tight. Okay. Now I believe this thing is hooked in the back side to the left, and it punches down into the front there. You can look at it. So, because I couldn't find another breaker, I'm just replacing this one with what we have. Yeah, this is not going to be a friend of mine. Alright, so alright, well I have to fiddle with this here and pop back in, which I might have to pop with the other ones. I'm going to get this done, and then we'll, basically what I'll do is I'll flip all these off. All these little circuits go off, and then I will put the breaker back in the off position, which is now. I'll flip on the main breaker, and then I'll flip these all back on one by onesies, just not to give a big drag on the house power system, if that's a thing. And maybe I'll attempt to get this one more time in here. I see how it should work, but no, I'll pop them out. Okay, mind you, this here is all fine to touch around. There is up here on the top where the circuit breaker goes in. right up in there. So those two big holes, those two black ones come down. Those black ones will still fry you if there's any metal on them. Okay, so don't touch that or anything like that. All right, so I'll figure this out. Meet you back inside. All right, if I did that correctly, this here should be hot again. So we'll try it and see what happens. Yep, 240, 120. That's great. So lights are on the house, so the power's back on. And okay, we're ready. So, next thing I want to do is, the floor is a little bit different than height. You know, I cleaned it. See? Because you got this tile right down there, and then concrete. So what I'll be doing there is, luckily enough for this place here, I found some, I don't know about backup, but extras. Extra tiles, per se. And so I'll just simply grab some of these and line them across the back like so. Right. In fact, I could probably just do two. One there and one over here in this corner. And that's going to bring it up to almost matching the floor. That's what you want to do. Maybe I'll clean this up too, this little scrubbing mess here. So I'll get those down, and that and cleaning, making sure your outlet's good, making sure your gas line over here is good. Now this is weird. For the size of this behemoth of a range that's going to go in here, it only needs a 1/2 inch gas line, which is what we have here, got 1/2 inch valve. I bought a new line for the install, I bought a new cord here, and that's what we'll be doing next, is installing the, I think, electrical cord to the unit. Alright, so instead of going directly to the electrical hookups here on the back, I decided, hey, why don't you guys join me down here on the dirty floor as I handle these leg issues, you see. Like most companies, they like to tape up parts that could be damaged or marred or whatever in shipping. And so I got some paper to deal with. And then after that, I figured, since this is on the floor now, we need to kind of raise it up some, right? And yeah, as you can see, this is that nice kind of tape that has strands in it, so it sometimes gets all sticky and messy and yucky. But yeah, so I'm going to raise it up some where I want it close to just above the counter height, I think, for them. And then that will be ready to be put back into position. And then after it gets in position, then it can be fine-tuned for leveling. So I'm going to leg there, give it a little tilt, and it just screws like that, which you can't see. Make sure you do it the right way. And I believe this has a 2-inch up and down on it. So there's that part there. And now I'll try to get the front one, which, guess what? The front one probably wants a little bit of someone stronger or a tool on it or something. So that pretty much covers the legs. I'll do the other 3, and then we will get back up off the floor. Alright, so I already took this part here off. 2 little bolts came from the bottom there and hold this on, and it covers up the wire. Now what we have here is a hot black one, a hot red one, and a neutral. And zoom in a little bit on this here. We have our neutral comes here to a ground. You can see the green one there. So with a 3/8 inch socket, or nut driver, whatever you got, some 3/8. I'm going to get in here and just want to undo your first nut. These are double nutted. And so let me try to get the first one up both. And I already did the two hots. Why this one's being harder, I don't know. But now, what we have for an outlet is we have ourselves a 4-pronged outlet. We got the two hots, a neutral, and a ground. So if you were to have just a 3-pronged outlet, which would be your ground is with your neutral, you leave it like this, with this nut in here and this wire going to it. But if you have a 4-wire one, like what we got here, 4, I'm going to take this one off too, which means I need to take this secondary nut off here, looks like, of the neutral, to remove that branching part. This right here feels like someone might have mucked up the threads a bit. Someone in the factory, but maybe not. Maybe it's just something gooey on there, who knows. Let's see here. Get this thing off. And then we got these, okay, if you just have, so the plug I'm using, plug wires, looks like this, see? They have connectors on them. If they were bare wires, range them with this little thing. Right, you can put a wire through the bottom there, tighten it down, and tighten this up to this bracket. But we won't be using those for this job. And we got this here, we'll take off. And this one here we'll take off. And then we have, looks like a washer. Yeah, something magical there. We'll start this one down here. That I think is a 5/16. Yep. So we'll take this one out here. And we keep this screw, of course, because we'll be putting the green wire back on that. Now this thing here will a little pry here. What to do about this thing? Well, this is a special thing I've never really seen before. All I do know is that this is not needed for the ground down here. The ground's separate. So this tab here, so I get a little bent back and forth and snapped off. Not sure if that's the right way to do it, but it's the way it's going to happen. Now then, we got these two here, which seem fine. So they'll go back on. See if I can get my fingers out of the way. Kind of give a little bit of grip room there, and then we shall put on a 3/8 nut. Which, yeah, it goes down nicely until it gets to a certain point, and then it goes, arr. Normally, I don't know, maybe normally I do use a socket wrench on this, but you gotta remember not to over tighten, which maybe someone's already done on this one, but there's ways around it. Okay, so we got it down there, snug, and I'll just double check this one here, which has 500 wires come off of it, looks like, and then there's two red ones. These red ones go probably to elements, and those black ones get everything else. So that there is good. Now we'll feed our wire up through this bottom part here. I'm pretty sure that's where that goes. And we'll do the green one first. Let me see here. Red's on this side, black's on the other side, white's in the middle. So twist them all around here and make it work is what we're going to do. Green is going to go to that bottom one, which is going to need this thing here, and goes in there with said nut driver. And I'm going to try to keep this one pointed down, although I'm not going to be able to because this casing needs to fit up in there a little bit. Of this black cord. So I'll bring it up like so, keep it away from stuff, that should be good enough, and give it a nice tightening down. Not destroy it, just tighten it. Now, white's going to go in the middle, red here. Red comes over here first. White in the middle, and black is going to go in there, like so, kind of. Man, wire management. Just want to cut that off and re-crimp it back on, but no, we'll stick with it. Now, this bottom part here, you don't leave it like that. Usually these cords come with these fanned out things here, right? There's holes bigger on one side than the other. That's where the screws go through and they screw into the other side. So I'm going to go ahead and put one on one side here and one on the other side of this. And then we're going to get your number 2 Phillips. Tighten that together. In theory, nice and easy. Usually there's some hard part like this one here back against the wall. Not going to fit there right. And makes it not go easy. Oh. Alright, let's see if we can get started off camera here. Just kind of pop it up like so. And it's like, nope, can't do that. This is the first time I've seen like this. Usually I've seen them like a round hole. And they, I don't know if they work better or not. This is going to work. It's just going to take a little bit of time to wrestle with it. Alright, take it back out. Try it again here. It's only a half-hour show. Just kidding. I'm here all day. Okay. Back on there. This part. The one in the front would be easy to do. Maybe I'll just start with that one. It's always tough getting it started through the hole. But once you get going, no problem. Okay, now the back one. See if I can get that one. Which, of course, I can't see most of the stuff. Straighten my cord here. That helps a lot. And come on, there. Get the holes lined up. And we're getting it ever so slightly. Like I said, the front was no problem, so the back one's going to be a pain now. Maybe I should undo the front one a little bit and redo the back one. Okay, I'm going to get back to that later. So, I'll get back to this part. Red's going to go over here. Got that on. Get my nut going here. I'm going to pull the red down, like so maybe. And is it a tighten? And remember, not ogre strength on this, but you know, nice and snug. Because you could crack, I think, the plastic sometimes this thing. So that's nice and snug. Has a little move, but it's the whole thing. Now I might as well do the white one, since it's next. This one here's a special one. I keep that straight up and down probably. Nice and snug. And last but at least on this one here, black one here. Put that on. And let's see here. Make sure it's inside this box still a little bit. Well, make sure it's in the box. Socket might be a little bit sad. Alright. That feels snug, good, tight. Green tight. Alright. Now I'm just going to do is rust with this here. There, all better. Now then we'll have this part here, goes back on stage. What it does is it goes up in here a little bit. I want to make sure you capture these wires inside of it. And be careful, this here does have some sharp edges. And I'll go up in this little manifold area here. And once you get up to its rightful spot, like so, down here, nope, not there, yeah, down there, is where we got these two little bolts to go back in. Screws, bolts, whatever. One and two. Make sure no wires are poking out from the side, because this would probably cut them off. Right. And now, you could basically plug it in. Is it ready to be plugged in? No. We still got some other parts to do on this thing, including such things like the gas line maybe. So, we'll get to the gas line next, which is electricity on the back, I guess, left side. Gas is all the way over on the back right side. Alright, so we're working on the gas line here, and as you can see on the back of this range, we've got a 1/2-inch pipe here coming down from a 90-degree angle up there. You see that 90-degree angle? And what they say in the manual is if you're doing a hard plumb, you hard plumb up to this pipe here. If you're doing a flex line, which we'll be doing for this install, you take this nipple out and you put in the adapter for the flex pipe. And so I've already started this because I can tell by looking at someone put that on with some strength. And I'm going to just go ahead and slip this thing on out here. And what will go in its place is one of these. Boom, boom. So you got pipe threads here, you got flare fitting down here. Clean it out, right? But you just don't stick it up in there, even though there could be some residual pipe dope left over. Instead, what you want to do is get yourself some sealant. Some good old Teflon tape, right? This right here? No, not this here. This is stuff used for water. Maybe that's why it's blue. And in the old days, you know, there's also this here. This is some thicker stuff, but guess what? This Teflon tape is also white-ish. And what you could do, if you don't use Teflon tape, you can use pipe dope, they call it, or pipe sealant for gas pipes. Or if you want to stick with the Teflon tape, ta-da! It comes this yellow stuff here. Used on threads for joints of metal, pipe, not exceeding 1.5 inches, and it's good for gasoline, petroleum, oils, propane, butane, natural gas. Now in the old days, and I don't know some of you other old timers out there, this right here, the blue stuff, was good for natural gas. Or at least no one said anything different back then. But now they want this right here. This stuff here, you can see is yellow tape. So I'm assuming some kind of an additive to it to keep it from deteriorating underneath the natural gas or propane. So you get your threads here, and it's basically something like this right here. You just kind of go with their threads, and of course the hardest part is starting it. I usually start right at the tip and get it in there, and then as you get started, you can kind of roll it in more. And as it's going down, or as it's going on, I kind of go down the threads till I get to the top here. And this here wants a minimum of 4 rotations, which I think I've got 7 or 8 by now. And just kind of pull and lock it like that. You hope that got on there. Now then, this right here, I will insert back up in this part here. Don't cross the threads, make it nice, and even get a wrench on that, right, like so. Okay, now then, that's not tight enough. I'll tighten that down more. But what will go into that next is our gas line. Flexible, right? Easy to work with. I don't know why you wouldn't want to do a rigid plumb on something, but if you're in earthquake country, that's bad. These threads don't get nothing because it's flare fitting. This should seal itself. And you just basically finger tighten this thing on and give it, you know, a slight turn to lock it all in. So make sure it's all tight, not over strength. It would be half over strength tight. Then we'll go to the other side of this, which is down here. See, we've got this valve, and what they have here is I think pretty much an inch pipe maybe coming in to reduce her from inch to half inch. We've got a half-inch valve. Now yours might not look like this. Yours might actually has the flare fitting on it, if at all. But this one here takes a special, it doesn't have to take a special one, but with this kit came this kind of thing. It's like a, it's a trip valve, I think. Yeah, so this goes up to 135 max flow, capacity of 118 kBUTUs per hour. British thermal units, right? And some kind of a thing in there. So basically what this is saying is that if this, not this down here, but anything past this, gets cut or broken, whatever, this valve should stop it, or I think, or slow it down. Same thing though, it gets Teflon tape on this side, none on this side, and there's arrows on this to show you where it's going. Now, depending on how big of a range you have or how big of a gas flow you're needing for something, this, I'm thinking, might just trip and cause you a headache. But we'll find that out in the testing stage, and if it does shut off, we'll replace this with nothing. Or maybe a better capacity valve there. So same thing, I'm wrapping it here with like a 4 times around or so. Well, at least 4, maybe more. Not too much more though, but get something so it's going to have some good sealing powers to it. Alright, and that is done. And this goes, make sure you have this cleaned out. You want this all clean in here. And we'll thread it in here nice, like so. And see what we got here. No. So then we'll use one of these guys here, maybe. And we'll tighten it down, not super tight, well, half over tight. You don't want anything changing around, pipes bending, whatever. And half over is about there. Now then, ready to turn it on? No. Next we do this. Connect the other end of our gas line, like so, on this flirt fitting. So we can get started here. Alright, so we got that snug down, and this one here is going to actually be tightened a little bit and tight. There. So there should be all tightened up. Now I'll tighten the other part here, and we'll get back to testing. So I've got both sides tightened, and first thing I want to do when you turn this valve on is listen for any hisses. I like to turn on kind of slow. I don't hear anything. Second, give little sniffs. I don't smell nothing. Third, most importantly, so if you don't have any kind of detector, take some water and a little bit of liquid soap, right? Mix together, make it a little bubbly. Just a little brush, and just kind of paint this on. All over the different connections and whatnot, maybe on the valve stem. And look for bubbles forming. I'll do the same at the top of the other side here. Alright. And I got a little rag here to kind of wipe the extra from me just making a mess. Okay. And you watch it. And you watch it closely. All right, you're watching closely. You see bubbles? Too close? All right, so I'm watching it closely. And I don't really see bubbles. I see bubbles, but they're not growing or they're not producing bubbles. So this here should be done, and the gas should be connected. Alright, so just wipe down this soapy mess now, and we can get to the electric side. Which I know we already did electric side, but now we're going to plug it in. After we get some of this mess out of the way here. Clean, tight, good. This we can get up. All right. So then, over here, we got a plug or an outlet. Yeah. And is that our plug? So now, so right here needs to be a little bit more brought back. Alrighty. Whoops. Okay. Now then, clean prongs, clean outlet. Let's make it happen. There. Now then, that's done. So, should be ready to try out. Right? No, not right. Now we've got this spot right here. You see the vent coming up here? And what happens now is we got the backsplash that came with it. Now, from my understanding, there's a 11-inch version and I think a 4-inch version you can get. The 11-inch version is like this here. It's big, it's heavy, it's stainless steel, right? Nice. You have to peel off, you don't have to, well, yeah, you should. You peel off this stuff here, this protective coating, and I'm going to give it all a wipe down with a sponge, damp sponge probably. But the thing to look out for also is on the back side of this, there is these little holes, and look, right there's one, and right up here's one, right below my hand, and inside the little hole, actually better than that, you need 3 hands sometimes. Inside the little hole there, if you can see, there is a bolt, a screw, right? Hex head, 5/16. And what that does is it goes through there, and you can see it kind of comes out here. And there's also some notches here. That's important. So what this front lip does is on the range, it will slip, side, it will slip in between a fine line here, right here. You have the screws kind of out a little bit, maybe, and I'm pretty sure, yeah, it slips in between this cooktop and this back part. And so at the bottom there, you can see the bolt actually going through here and tighten down. But first, and yeah, it covers up this here, and it goes across. But first we need to clean this stainless steel beauty up here. This is the back side. Dirty, nobody cares about that. And I'll get to scrubbing and cleaning, and then we'll get ready for the install. A word of caution when wiping down this here stainless steel stuff here, trying to make it nice and clean. You might want to put some gloves on, otherwise this could happen. Yeah, my day's ruined. Okay, I'll go get some stitches, and I'll get to clean this back safer. Remember, gloves. Right, as you can see, I've disconnected the gas line again, turn the gas off first, disconnect it, because if you look on the back of that right there, there's a hole, right? That's where the gas line goes through, I'm pretty sure. So, like I said, I'm going to lift it up, and there's 2 lips. There's a front lip, which is right about here, and there's the back lip back here. Now the front lip, pretty sure it's the one that slides in between this back piece of metal and this black piece here, the cooktop. And this here goes in between the two of them. Same with down there, there's another one. A vent from the oven goes into it. But I'll show you here on the back part down this way. You have this right here. This little bouncy guy. And there's actually tabs that you can kind of see right there. So this is going to come out in the front, and this is going to go in the back of the back part. This is pretty flexible, so it moves around. It covers up some electronics, so you don't want to pinch it in there, but it does smash down somewhat to hold it. Now, I think we will just try to lift it up while we're all watching this here. And you can see here's like a hole here. And so I'll leave it like this and see if I can get this here centered. Mind you, all this is sharp. Alright, big guy, so we got. And as we know, this parts of this backsplash is sharp. Here. It's over. Get it in between the parts they need it, which is not happening down there. Let's see now. Okay, we're hung up on this back part here, so I'll lift it up and I'll put it in this part. Now, so this is the end, and there we have, I think. See what's going on down here. This to be probably one of the more difficult things involved in this. Okay, got this side down. Still hopeful for this one. This is going to take some precision metal dropping. So, I'm going to go the other side real quick. Grab on that side. Yeah. Let's see here. If you bend this like that and you do this like this, line up this bottom part, and give it a little tap, which ain't gonna help. So it's sitting on something. We don't see what yet. Okay, so that's good there. Ah, perfect. So this spot here. Lift up. And move this in. Okay, there we go. Gently. Let's tab it a little bit more. There we go. There. Nothing to it, except for I'll have to gently lift up now. I'm sure it's boring for all you, but down over here I noticed that when we're getting it down there, there is, that's probably here, that oval. By this oval, there is a bolt. So I'm going to lift this up a little bit, lift it up a little bit, take the bolt out, slide it back down, put the bolt back in, and then I'll put my bolts that I moved from here back in, the 4 holes on the back of this. And on the other side, I will right around front. I will retighten in these screws here. Snug them up. Not ogre strength here because you don't want to chip your porcelain, but snug them up to that. And this should be all sitting up straight and ready to run. Well, almost ready. So let me get these all tightened and adjusted. Here's another view of there. So you can see that bolt there on the back of the range screw. So that comes out. I'm going to lift this up, bring it out, put it back down, and tighten it up. And my foot's stuck in the camera, so I'm going to do all that and be back. Alrighty, so screws and nuts and bolts all tightened. And backsplash is on. And really found out that that part where I thought I'd take the gas line off for doesn't go through there. It goes underneath it, see? So, so much for that. Put the gas line back on, tighten it up. That part down there is good with the tabs in place. And now it's ready to be set back into its area. Which, you don't want to just push it. You want to just push. You want to kind of give it a lift. So, one strong guy on one side, another strong guy on the other side. Or, in my case, I'm going to lift up one side, move it, lift up the other side, move it. And jimmy it on back in there and see how much we need to level it out. Okay, as you can see there, it's not quite as high as we want it yet. And we're not quite all the way back to the wall either. So, this is a good time. We're about, we're 5 inches off from the back wall there, to see if I can reach down there underneath in the front. I'll lay down, reach underneath there, kind of tilt the thing over a little bit and see if I can adjust the legs down more. Might even just get me another floor tile. Try that out. So I'll figure something out here and see what we can do. But before you slam it all the way back, see how you are on the height on this thing is what I'm trying to say. Now you can see the front part, continue on here. The back there has some, some gap there. But as we go towards the front, it gets narrow and narrower until it's that middle part's almost right at the lip. So that's saying because you have the grout and stuff, the mastic, whatever, it's underneath these floor tiles, that's raised it up that much more to make it not where we want it at. So I'll go find another tile and probably slap it on there and see what happens. Both sides. Alright, so we took levels and we leveled it from the, pretty much, from the left side over here to the right side, and from the front to the back. And we even put some levels in the oven down there. We put some of the oven trays in. Yeah. Anyways, it's leveled. So now what we're going to do is start adding the pieces. Starting with the, why not? Start with the cooktop. The burners, right? So the burners are pretty simple. These are all the same. And what they come with are these burner discs here. look like so. And there's little prongs up on top, and there's a spot on the bottom. And so the prongs go in there. And it just sits down like so. Right? And there's two of them. We've got one more I'd like to wipe down, but we'll do the grates here. They have like little rubber feet there on the bottom, right? And just a damp towel or something. Don't get too much water on these things, and they just fit right in like so. Nice. And whew. Listen, we've got fire. Try the back one here. Looks like a good flame. Turn all the way down to simmer. Right. It's hard to see it, but it's still there. You can see it there. Yeah. Alright. So, now, just two more of those, and we'll be done with the top. Well, to the middle part here. So next up is the griddle assemblies right here. They have this middle part like this, with a kind of a tray in the bottom here, and a breather hole in the back. And the back also has a notch like so, and the front underneath the bottom has a peg, right? And these are sharp, so you don't want to wear gloves for this. Sharp on the edges and stuff, but the peg goes in the front here in a hole, and the back one goes in a notch on a little peg back there. Let's see how it is. You can see there they got the little notch with the peg going through it. And basically it sits there, and it kind of has a tilt towards the front, you know, for grease to run off. Now we got another one here I'll wash and put over there. We have this little trough here, and this is where the grease catcher goes. And it comes apart like so. You have the two holes, one here on each side, and there's little pegs here that will go in them. And basically, something like that, and it just sits right in here. So we have two of those. And next up is you have I think a little diffuser that goes in there. And it looks something like this. One has like a lip side too, with kind of a curved part. The other side is like this here, all squared off. And from where I stand, the squared off part goes towards the back and down, and the one with the lip goes to the front and up. And it fits right up in here. It goes in those notches there. Alright. Now then, one last piece, I think, to this here is your griddle. So, I've already washed this here down. This is heavy. So on one side here, grill. Other side, griddle. Alright, and they just go right on top of the these little metal things right here. They got four of them. Sits up on there. Wash your fingers, of course. It's not that this is sharp, but this is heavy, and stuff around it is sharp. Alright. So, that's in there good. Like so. Phew. Okay. Now do the other side the same, only actually I'm going to flip over the grill part and make it griddle. After you get those on, and when they're not in use, your grill or griddle, it comes with this nice stainless steel cover sheet, you see. And that kind of hooks in the back, I believe. And cover the whole thing up. Nah, it kind of covers like that. Right? So then you got either some light work surface, or just to keep the dust and stuff off your other stuff, your grill. Now, likewise, when you have this like this, they say put a clean one, but a dry paper towel between them, And then remember it's there, and you don't turn the heat on when this is like this. This is not teppanyaki, right? So for storage, put a paper towel here, put this on top, and I got the other one cleaned up and stick on top of that one over there. All right. So next up will be the oven door. So wipe that down, and basically you have two little prongs on the bottom of the door. Let's show you here real quick. And you got this bottom prong, top prong, and this little thing here that latches in between them. So slide these back in to the top and bottom holes there, and undo that little spring. Let's see where. Aim it down here so you can see some of the business part of this. Alright. And these aren't terribly heavy, but let's see now. Top ones first, let's say. And then the bottom ones. There's a notch in there. Alright, so now it's in there. So I'm just going to move this metal thing back. Now forward, I believe. Alright, one side. And get the other side here. Alright. Now this should just shut like so. Alright, opens, closes. Whew. And for this particular model, maybe some of the other ones, the way you can tell this is the gas side is when you open it up there, you can slightly see in there's a little black gasket that goes around the oven door. Not the door itself, but the where it closes against. And really, I'm not doing a good job of showing it here. So do a little illumination on this. Right there. Right, a little black gasket. The door doesn't have any gasket. That's the gas side of the range. Right? Next we'll do broiler. Down at the broiler part here, which is already open, we got that little metal rack that can slide out. Take two hands on it, and there's a couple notches there where the broiler will go into. The broiler pan looks a little something like this right here, you see. Brand new, clean. This here comes off. This here would catch all the greasiness. And this here you put your meat, vegetables, whatever you're broiling on. And in the oven, for gas one, it goes down here. In the electric one, it goes on the top shelf. And then you see those little notches there. Should just slide right in between them. Like so. And push in. There. Broil away. That leaves us with, I think, the door here on the electric side. So let me go grab that and be right back. After I clean it up, of course. Right, the electric self-cleaning oven, you can see here, there's that there. The gasket, that silver thing. Nice and spongy, right? And this door seems considerably heavier than the other one. Weird. So, we'll basically install it the same way. Hook the top part in, the bottom bracket down there, and then undo the holding part. So, and make sure it sits down okay on its parts in there. And undo this part here. There. There we go. Open and close a few times. Sounds good. All right. So, that seems to be it now for the install of the range. You know, voila, there it is, in all of its great shininess. And I don't know, maybe I'll do a video on testing this thing out. And if I did a good job on this, the secret is that people might let me actually cook on it and make some videos, which I might have already said this before. But you know, I just want to do some cookbook reviews. And so I might be able to do some recipes on this thing, which would be kind of fun. Now then, this is it for the range. And the hoods are pretty much done too, right up there. The hood still needs to have a little bit done to it for a ducting, which I'll get to that later. Otherwise, this is it. If questions, comments, leave them below. And I think I'm taking away at least two things from this. And one is big ranges equal big installs. Yeah, I've installed other ranges, and I think the bigger the range, the harder they're probably to install. More stuff to it. But this is pretty nice. And the second part is gloves. Right? Leather gloves. If you have some leather gloves, or some you know, something thick that has some actually grips to it, you know, I like these brands here, which I kind of wear sometimes during this install. But gloves. So anyways, questions, comments, link below. And thanks for watching. I think the next thing we'll get onto is probably the dishwasher, which is way over there. Bink. And hopefully I don't cut any more fingers off. Odd Job Doer, out.